What's up, people? Welcome back to the Ninja Legends YouTube channel. In case you don't know me, I'm Overlord1469. Recently, as of the time of this video's release, the team turned 1 year old, and that is insane. We have come a long way, and we are proud of all the support we have received. As a way of thanks, we are here to bring you what is arguably one of our highest quality videos yet. We really hope you like it, so enjoy the show.
We're saving a girl?
Is she hot?
The size of the fight in the ninja.
Everything has led to this.
It's about family.
Chen grows strong by taking from others.
I am the Green Ninja!
Don't wish it to happen, make it happen! We are got call!
That symbol.
We never chose these mantles we hold.
The resistance never quits!
Sentimentality is a weakness.
I just had a terrible nightmare.
You have reached level 13.
The power inside my mother.
You seek to steal the amulets.
We never seem to get a break.
Hey guys! Today, we are going to be ranking every single Ninjago installment. In more common terms, it would be ranking the seasons, but we have a couple things we would like you to keep in mind. During development, each Ninja Legends member was tasked to rate every single Ninjago installment out of 10, 10 being the best. To stay in accord with our podcast series, we did two things. We split Season 11 into its Fire and Ice chapters, and we included the LEGO Ninjago Movie. After that, we averaged out all of our ratings. So this ranking is not only cumulative of our individual rankings, but it also ranks out the resulting average ratings from worst to best. Moving on from how this ranking will work, we also have some guests in this video. First, we would like to give a huge thanks to former Ninja Legends member KINYIX because he produced a gorgeous thumbnail for our collaboration like done when the team was founded. Also, welcome former member OverlordX because you will hear him later in the video. Most of the audio here is from months ago, so he originally wasn't supposed to be a guest. However, since he left the group, we have to give him that courtesy, so once again, welcome. With all this out of the way, please remember that everything we will say in this video is based on our own individual opinions. Let's get on with it.
On the last spot, we have the Fire chapter. So it's the first half of season 11. And why is it on the last spot? Because it's not really good. It has many problems as of right. The story felt rushed at some points and slow at other points, and when it should be otherwise, and had some filler episodes, and the story wasn't really good, especially with the 11-minute format. It wasn't really well executed, and it was very boring as a chapter, so that's why it's the worst. But I don't hate it. I think it had potential, but it wasn't well executed.
Coming in at number 17 is the Ice chapter from Season 11 of Ninjago. Now, in my opinion, this chapter is solid, but just doesn't hold up compared to most other Ninjago seasons. The finale, for example, is extremely rushed. Just one 11-minute episode for a finale doesn't work at all, and Zeng being the Ice Emperor literally had no consequences after he basically killed a whole species, which is one major issue I have personally with this chapter. Overall, yeah, I think it's good, but it does have a lot of issues too, which really hold it back in my opinion.
Season 14, Season 3, the Energy chapter, the Island. It has many names, but only one thing is for sure. It wasn't great. Truly a wasted true potential. Now, in my opinion, the island was not terrible in any way, but could have been something much better. The concepts were really cool, the background animation was good. Like, the biggest problems this season has is the rush nature of the story, and once again, no character development for the main character. Why? You could have easily made Lloyd have a bigger role in this chapter. The island also has many other flaws, like the cringy comedy, the strange dialogue, the final fight scene being extremely rushed, and Ronin being the main villain, which made no sense whatsoever. In conclusion, this season really had a great story to tell, but the 4-episode format, Twitch Team Ex Machina, and Ronin reveal really hold the season back.
So at number 15, with a pretty lackluster average score of 4.75, we have The Day of the Departed, and this was the first installment to be focused on Cole, which definitely a lot of people can appreciate, but sadly the runtime just isn't strong with this one, to be fair. The whole installment had a pretty interesting concept with a lot of old villains actually returning, and with The Day of the Departed as a whole, which is probably the closest thing to Halloween in the Ninjago universe. Master Yank was actually a very interesting villain, but obviously you can't really tell the best story under 45 minutes, so if the actual thing was at least 4 episodes long, I think a lot of members would appreciate it way more.
And in the 14th spot here is the Ninjago Movie, and this got an average rating of 5.9 out of 10 from all the Ninja Legends members working on this project. And okay, the movie. Let's look at the movie just as the movie objectively here. The movie itself is kind of meh. I know there are some people who enjoy it, but I think many of people, it never really was all that amazing too. It's pretty lackluster, and the whole Meowthra storyline and everything together just is very, again, lackluster, and I think there was too much going on in it. And yeah, the movie itself was just kind of mediocre, I think is the best way to put it. Again, I think some people like it, but overall though, it's pretty meh. And it's easy to see why this got a lower average rating from all of us working on this project. Again, it's not all that loved. But then as for kind of the impact of the movie onto the show, obviously the movie is not canon to the show in any way, but it did ensue plenty of changes to the show. The biggest one being the designs of our favorite ninja team. The movie changed the designs for good, and initially some people were just absolutely, hated this, and to this day can never forgive the movie for doing that. And then there are a number of people where the design changes at first were like really people weren't on board with them, but it's grown on them over time and it's really not all that bad now. I would be one of those people. It doesn't really bother me in this day and age, but I definitely wasn't on board with it at first. And then there are some people who actually I know did love the design changes right away, so great. And then the other thing that the movie really changed was the ninjas' primary weapons. Then it kind of changed their base weapons that they used from season 8 till now. Kind of they changed that, where Zane had like the bow and arrow, and Jay kind of had like the flail weapon and stuff. So it did change kind of the base weapons of the ninja, but otherwise though the movie didn't change the show all that much except for kind of designs of some things. So the movie though as a whole, like I mentioned, is pretty lackluster, and again is really probably not deserving of anything higher than where it sits. Again, few people like it, but many people it just never really clicked with, and that's kind of why the Ninjago Movie is pretty low on our ranking list.
At lucky number 13th place, with an average of 6.45 out of 10, we have Season 7, aka Hands of Time. And I can see why it ended up getting kind of the lower end of the bracket. This season was very, very interesting as it had a focus on time, which is a very hard thing to write about. This also came as a result of the delay of the LEGO Ninjago Movie from 2016 to 2017. Again, we still do not know why this happened, but it happened as a result, and overall it kind of felt like a last minute season in order to fit in the 2017 quota. And while the villains were pretty interesting, the overall story in which it was is a bit bland at times, especially in the middle with Scavengers, Line in the Sand, and The Attack serving as the 3 infamous episodes that kind of drew the season a little bland. I could definitely see why people would not like it, especially since Season 8 did not continue on with the Season 7 storyline. But I am excited to know that Ninjago Legacy Reimagined will continue on with it, and hopefully we will finally get an answer to what happened with Achronix and Crux.
At number 12, we have the Prime Empire with the average rating of 6.5, and it's probably one of the, if not the most unique installment in the whole series, and might also be slightly underrated in a way. The concept of ninja being trapped in a video game is definitely something very cool, and with all different levels and stuff they had to pass to complete the Prime Empire, and there were just so many new interesting characters like Scott, Okino, Agami, and so on. And yeah, as a whole, it's just a very interesting, action-packed season, and if you aren't too nitpicking along with it, you can actually enjoy it way more than you think.
Season 13 is a decent season in my opinion. I loved the finale and the cold focus was pretty cool, but other than that, the season didn't really deliver much to me. I mean, some of the episodes were straight up terrible, like that anime episode, and some of them were pretty meh. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are great episodes as well, but there's not a lot of them, so that's why I think Season 13 is just a decent season.
Coming in at our number 10 spot on the list, it's Season 10, March of the Oni, getting an overall score of 7.05 when totaling all our opinions up. This is an interesting one to say the least, acting as a conclusion to a lot of things in Ninjago, such as the end of the Oni trilogy, which spans seasons 8 through 10, and the end of the Will film era of animation style, which a lot of fans adored, and most importantly, the end of the Masters of Spinjitzu version of Ninjago, before the show moved on to this new version that we see to this day. For these reasons, Season 10 March of the Oni is a very divisive season. Fans either love it or hate it. I personally really enjoyed it. I like the concept and execution of these ancient creatures, which were set up in the previous two seasons, taking over Ninjago and the 16 realms by storm. Definitely felt like a conclusion story arc. The Oni were neat, especially the main villain Omega, who I enjoyed a lot. But let's just leave that Garmadon Oni transformation out of our minds, okay? But yeah, we can't talk about designs without mentioning the Legacy 1.0 suits. They looked great in this season. They felt very nostalgic and modern at the same time. I just wish they'd stop using them in the Legacy sets, so they feel more important. Speaking of Legacy, Season 10 only had one credited set, that being the Oni Battle Pack. The wave of sets for the season was actually the first wave of Legacy. An interesting concept, but I feel like it was executed quite well, as the season didn't really have much going on in it to make sets out of. Anyway, those designs and vehicles appeared in the season, but most prominently, the Earth Driller remake. The others really appeared in shorts, which were attached to the season, but don't really count as the season as a whole. The story was decent, but some felt it was a bit too short, which I do agree with, as I loved what they set up in the season, and would have loved to see what else it would offer. Overall, this is probably the shortest season, only spanning 4 episodes. However, it aired as a TV movie in most countries, which I think is the optimal way of watching this, so I'd recommend that. Overall, a great but flawed season. Still worth the watch, and I personally do watch it every now and again, and it was a great conclusion to what Ninjago was.
Okay, as for the pilots, I honestly think they're one of the better installments in the whole Ninjago show. Overall, I think Ninjago did a great job with this, and this was one of the perfect beginnings, and it really set the tone for, I think, the first 3 seasons of Ninjago, not including Season 3, just including the pilot Season 1 and Season 2, and it was just a really nice beginning, and the focus on Kai was just phenomenal, and just like the first episode was totally about him, but for more of the show, I really think that the second episode did more justice for the rest of the characters. I think there should have been a little more focus on the other characters in the first episode of the pilots, but seeing as if that the show was supposed to be based on Kai, I really think that wasn't that big of a problem, honestly. It may be just me being biased since Kai was my favorite character till Season 6 of Ninjago, then he just became something else. I don't care as of this moment.
But overall, yeah, I really think the pilots were amazing. And also, just overall, the story element was amazing, and the plot twist at the end of the pilots was really nice. Overall, I just really think that it was well-rounded. There were no loose ends except for the ones that the show writers intended for.
And here we have Season 2, The Legacy of the Green Ninja, or the final battle. It has many names. This season is really good. This season was one of those seasons that show us what every ninja is capable of. It's like Season 1. And what's the most important in this season is the Green Ninja, Lloyd. We got a lot of stuff about Lloyd's life. We got Misako in his life, Garmadon. So basically the story was focusing on Lloyd and about the Golden Ninja and the legacy of the Golden Ninja. The Golden Ninja was basically the most important thing because Lloyd defeated the Overlord at the end of the season, and in my opinion it's still one of the best fights in all of Ninjago. This season was really good and really enjoyable to watch, and it's one of the best seasons.
Up next at number 8 is Season 6, Skybound. Now in my personal opinion, this is the best Ninjago season, however I can see why some people wouldn't like it as much as I do. The first few episodes are just kind of silly, the ninja getting arrested seems really forced, and yeah, it honestly just doesn't make much sense. Once you get past that part of the season though, it's actually really good. Nadakan is also a great villain, and the finale is extremely unique to say the least. Overall, another very great Ninjago season.
And in the number 7 spot is going to Season 1, and what an action-packed and nostalgic season. And this got an average rating of 8 out of 10 from all the Ninja Legends members working on this project. And yeah, it is definitely deserving of that high rating because Season 1 is a very excellent and nostalgic season. As I mentioned, there was so many choices done right in this season. The main 4 ninja each had focus episodes. We also saw them reach their true potentials. There was the Green Ninja storyline of who that would be. And then there was an amazing action-packed 2-part finale with the Great Devourer. Also, the Serpentine Army was pretty good. Pythor was an excellent villain. And yeah, I mean, overall, this season, again, just did so many things right. Very action-packed and, again, very nostalgic. And this season is well done. Definitely deserving of the high ranking on this list. And it's a very well done season. Definitely deserving of the number 7 spot.
At number 6, we have Season 3 Rebooted, which out of every Ninja Legends rating came to an average of 8.05 out of 10. Some people absolutely despise Season 3, but I think it is a fantastic season, and I'm here to tell you why. The premiere, in my opinion, is one of the best premieres in all of Ninjago. We had waited for over a year for another Ninjago episode, and this one delivered. It was just action-packed, so much fun, and honestly, a great introduction into the season. Awesome to see Garmadon back and everything. I do admit that the Blackout arc could have been executed better, but oh well. This I'm gonna get roasted for in the comments. I don't think the J. Cole Nia love triangle was that bad. I do agree that it could have been executed better in episode 3, Blackout, but going forward, it brought some great character development for Jay and Cole. Lloyd had to lose his golden powers, that was honestly expected. I would have loved to see more of his golden power in future seasons, but you can't have an overpowered ninja on the team, so that happened. But it was great that later in the season, the ninja got control of their own elemental powers. The Digiverse episode is just so memorable. I loved the scenes with the golden ninja in that episode. And then, the Codename Arcturus arc. That one is just incredible. I love it. I may be biased here because I absolutely love space, but that arc's concept was just amazing and I think it was very well executed. To this day, we still haven't seen another space-themed episode. Maybe we'll get a season based around that in the future, but well. And then the finale. Zane's sacrifice still gives me chills to this day. That was something we all never expected from Ninjago. Unfortunately, Zane's death was spoiled to me back in the day, but like I said, it still gives me the chills today. Though not being a direct Zane-focused season, it gave him some great moments, especially with his relationship with Pixel, and in the end, it was a fantastic season. I think the Overlord could have been a better villain because he didn't have much motive apart from just being evil, but I still really like him, hence why I'm Overlord1469. Overall, amazing season, but it has some setbacks that put it behind the next seasons on the list.
As for Season 9 of Ninjago, it was honestly one of the best, if not the best, installment of Ninjago. The best would obviously go to something that you're going to see later in the video, but this was one of the best because this was something new that Ninjago hadn't done before, and it was very mature, which I enjoyed very much. And I just love the apocalyptic theme of this season and how they just continued the story from Sons of Garmadon, and it just really worked well with the season. And the Lloyd focus and was a little too much, but I wasn't like that big of a deal. But except that, I think it was an overall well-rounded season. I love the Oni realm, the Dragon realm plotline. It was kind of filler, but not exactly. It really helped develop the characters, and it was really fun to watch between Ninjago City and that. And I just love the cinematography in this season too, and overall just the way that they portrayed the characters and the maturity, the gothic level, and it was just overall phenomenal.
At number 4, we have Season 8, Sons of Garmadon, which out of every Ninja Legends rating came to an average of 8.75 out of 10. I love Season 8 for 4 reasons. 1. Harumi. 2. Lloyd's new voice actor, Sam Vincent. 3. It's a great start for new fans. And 4. It has some of the darkest moments in the whole show. Some people weren't very happy when Sons of Garmadon first aired because it introduced the movie redesigns. Controversy was expected, but like I said, it was a great way to bring in new fans from the LEGO Ninjago movie. If the old designs were kept, it would have been harder to transition over to the show. Also, it was a good way to modernize the ninja designs. Anyways, the season's execution was just so good. I absolutely loved the ties to early Ninjagan history, like talking about the Oni and Dragon. I liked that we got Mistake back, and Harumi was just a fantastic villain. For any of you who are familiar with me, you know that Harumi is my favorite Ninjago villain, and honestly, it's because of the way she betrayed Lloyd. She got close to him, they were developing a romantic relationship, some people just love Larumi, and I will admit that I shipped them for a while. But then after Harumi betrayed them, oh my god, that was just a pain! Disappointed! We got to see how evil she really was, and that the ninja's actions had consequences. She wouldn't have become a villain if the Great Devourer hadn't attacked Ninjago City in Season 1. I was glad to get that connection to Season 1, and then Garmadon being back. Mwah! Honestly, that incarnation of Garmadon is just really well done. I love how brutal he is. We didn't get to see more of that until Season 9, but still, the fight he had with Lloyd near the end of the season was really well done. Some people don't like the finale, like my pal Brix Lord, but in my opinion, I think it's just a good way to transition over to Season 9. Besides, the 2 seasons are connected. But yeah, overall, for being dark and having so many great moments, this is one of the best Ninjago seasons in my opinion.
With the bronze medal today, aka 3rd place on our list, we have Season 5, aka Possession, with a very high average of 9.05 out of 10. This season is definitely one of the highlights of Ninjago, as it took a bit more of a darker-ish tone with it, and introduced one of the series' best villains in the form of Moro, the former Master of Wind. And we get to see a lot of backstory, and we actually get to see a lot of the OG Ninja without Lloyd, and how the OG Ninja have to work without their powers. Because an issue I had with this is I really did not like how all their powers were centered on Lloyd, but thank God that was in the past, and you know, we have a much better explanation as to where these powers do come from. And overall, this season was executed masterfully. I personally think it deserves the #1 position, but one season edged it out by 0.06 of a percent.
Coming in at the 2nd place spot is Ninjago's most recent installment, Seabound, And wow, let me just say that this, in my opinion, is the best piece of Ninjago material since 2014. The story is organic, dialogue is perfect, and the animation is outright amazing. Season 15, as we call it, is the first and quite frankly the last time we'll see a Nia focused season. That is, unless we get future information regarding the return of this character, but I highly doubt it due to the solidarity of this season finale. Nia in this season is incredible, and she really made me fall in love with her character to the point where I feel comfortable to rank her character in S tier with the original 4. Sorry Lloyd. Her development from being Kai's sister and Jay's girlfriend to the girl ninja and now her own solidified character has been beautiful to watch. Probably the best thing about this season is Nia's relationship with her mother Maya, and until this season I fully ignored the fact that Nia and Kai had to practically raise themselves. So yeah, seeing Nia grow to love and understand her mother and her intentions was super heartwarming and gave some great closure on their relationship in the season finale. Kalmar is by far the best villain since Moro, and is so flipping sinister. His intentions are insanely maniacal, and he's just the perfect representation of an evil character without being lifeless and dull. Killing his father Trimar was just crazy to me and solidified his intentions and his character from very early on in the season. Wajira's ties to the first Ninjutsu master, the Melopians, and the Keepers are inexplicably organic, and the explanation of wind and water being non-creation elements is perfect. Of course, the heavy hitter of this season is Nia's sacrifice, which left me more emotionally distraught than after my first viewing of Forrest Gump. Nia saying I love you for the first time in the entire airing of the show, and her relationship with Jay is absolutely priceless, but Jay's reaction to the old Nia's death is truly the end of me. Poor guy, I couldn't even imagine the trauma you're going through. But yeah, all things considered, this season is definitely a 10 out of 10 and definitely deserves the number 2 spot on the list.
Season 4 is a fan favorite season, so no wonder it got to the top on our list as well. It's just an incredible season. I love everything from it. I love the concept. I love Chan as a villain. I love the action. I basically love every episode from it, and it's really good, so in my opinion it definitely deserves a number 1 spot.
So that's gonna do it for this video. What is your ranking of the Ninjago installments? Please let us know in the comments. Before we go, we'd like to give a huge thanks to guests KINYIX and OverlordX. You guys helped us a lot with this collab, and we greatly appreciate it. Hopefully we can have you guys back in the future. Theirs and all of the Ninja Legends channels will be in the description, so please go support us. We'd really like that. But apart from that, there's nothing else to say. We hope you enjoyed this video. It was loads of fun to make. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!